Okay, we're going to move on to the second part of the show. So in the cubby hole there, we've got a little woolly jumper. I'm just going to apologise about Terry here, showing off to the boys. He's not making anyone feel inadequate. Pop you up there. Right, second part of the show. But before I let the wild animal out, a couple of things I need to do, which are very important. First of all, always check your machine is working. Because if you've got a wild sheep between your legs and something goes wrong here with a handpiece, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So just check first. Just switch it on. Very simple. There's the power. It's great. So, does anyone think that sounds a bit dangerous? Is anyone worried about the sheep? What, you don't care about sheep? Oh, thank you, bud. No, I know you all do. You're just a bit shy, aren't you? Now, actually, sometimes people think this might hurt the skin of the sheep. So what I'm going to do before I start is I'll just demonstrate it doesn't hurt by putting it on my own skin first. Okay, so here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't hurt. Oh dear. No, actually, it doesn't hurt at all. In fact, if anything, it's quite nice. It's a little bit like a yeah, it's like a vibrating feeling. Okay, so the sheep love it. So that's that. But now the next thing I want to do, and I'm sorry about this. Like, obviously, as a foreigner, there's a few things about Britain that stand out to me as being a little bit, you know, just unusual. This is just an observation, though. It's not a criticism. Although I have found that here in the UK, your health and safety people might be wound up a little bit tight. Okay, I have to give you a health and safety talk. What I've got in the cubbyhole here is a wild sheep move at around 45 miles per hour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open that door. Right, she's going to want to go that way. Now she's going to be in 4-wheel drive. I'm going to catch her and I'm going to put her in neutral. Here's the thing though, if I miss, and don't worry, I hardly ever miss, but if I do and the sheep leaves the stage and I'm not attached to it, that's not part of the show, okay? Listen up, this is your escape plan. I think you probably worked that out anyway. If this wild sheep is coming towards you, quietly and calmly stand up. If it's getting closer, calmly turn around. If you can feel the breath on the back of your neck, just run. Okay, that's it. By the way, legally, now you can't sue me. I love law in the UK, it's great, isn't it? Okay, good luck in the front, guys. Have you got your makeup on, darling? Oh. You know what, she came up like a firecracker, but she's got a little bit of stage fright now. So I think we'll need to encourage her a little bit. I'll tell you what, guys, let's make a little bit of noise, get her out. We'll count down from 5 together, shall we? Let's start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wish me luck. Go, 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 go. Okay. Who's the guilty party? Do you recognise somebody? Right, now here we go again. Hey, come on, you got to come out. See, this one really doesn't want to have a haircut, does she? Oh, actually, there you go. She's in 4-wheel drive now. What I'm going to do before I go any further, I'll put the handbrake on. There you go. Now, when I'm in this position with a sheep, obviously I can't shear her, because not only is this impractical, it also really doesn't look very good. Are you taking a picture now? Don't send it to the papers, look. So what I'll do is put her on her bottom. Ready, 1, 2, 3, over you go. Shit, that's better. Now, when a sheep is on its bottom, that relaxes. How can you tell if a sheep is relaxed? Let me show you. Yeah? Not very tense, is she? Okay, so you do all the hard work holding the animal with your legs. Keep your hands free for the important stuff. Right hand's got the easy job. Just takes the wool off. Nice and simple. The left hand's got the most important job. Now, any kids in the audience, have you seen Dad when he's shaving? He can sometimes pull his skin nice and tight so he doesn't cut himself, yeah? And Mom can sometimes do the same thing with her legs. Pulls the skin nice and tight when she shaves her legs. That's what I've got to do as well. My left hand needs to work here on the skin of the sheep to keep the skin nice and tight. Because if the skin is tight, there's no wrinkles. If there's no wrinkles, I won't cut her. Left hand's job. Don't you cut that sheep. It's very simple. Now, to help us, sheep have got a couple of little buttons, right, which we use. Because if you think about that leg being tucked in like that, I can't shear that. Because I don't know where the leg ends and the body begins, do I? So what I do is just use this button here. Watch this wonderful leg extension. Oh, that's what, God, this one's really... Oh, there you go. Leg out. Nice and simple. It's a little bit like an aerial, but... Okay, but she's got a good one here on the front leg. This is what we call the karate kick. She's doing it already. I don't even have to use that button. Relax. So if that's down there, and I just use this little button here. Right, watch this. Hey! One more time for the people of Valiant. Oh, bless her, and relax. Okay, so those little buttons, don't hurt the sheep at all. It's all about just getting rid of those wrinkles. So I'm ready to start, except for one minor calamity. My machine is over there and I'm over here. So what I'm going to do is just use a little technique that I've learned since I've been in the UK. This is what happens on the Norfolk coast when the pubs close on a Saturday night. Right, you ready? Come on, darling. That's right. Ah, that's better. Just lie back, think of it, and relax. Oh, good girl. Okay, so we'll get into when you're shearing, you always start up here on the brisket and just work your way down into the belly area. Now remember what I was saying, left hand's got the most important job. So left hand's coming in just behind the machine, keeping that skin nice and tight. No wrinkles, no cuts, that's the way it goes. Oh, she's a proper little woolly one, this as well. Now also very important to check, but just check before you start, right? Because farmers, they're only human. Sometimes they make a mistake. If a little boy had to slip in amongst the girls, you don't want to be cutting things off that shouldn't come off. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to check. Now this is a little girl, which means she's got two little teats down there that she'll use when she has lambs. This here. Now guys, this is her first haircut she's ever had. She's what you call a shearling. Right, so she's a year old. Now up until a year, a sheep is called a lamb. After that, she becomes a consenting adult. Right, so she'll go off and have her little lambs this here. So that's the belly wall out of the way. Then what you do is just move your way down into the bikini line area here. Now actually, just before I go any further, there's a couple of things here. I just want to show the kids these. You might have heard of these actually. All right, that's what's called Klingons, kids. Right, this is what happens if you don't use toilet paper. Right, horrible, smelly stuff. And I'll tell you something else, your mom and dad will hear you coming because it rattles when you run. Right, look at that, rattle your legs. Yeah, great, that's where that comes from. Right, so all the stuff in the belly and the bikini line, that goes into my separate bag. That goes into my smelly bag. Right, that's still useful though. That gets turned into felt. So the next time you're playing snooker, that lovely green cloth, right, or pool, you can think to yourself, yep, that's a sheep's bottom, right there. So that's the little bikini line area tidied up. Now, this is just for the ladies in the audience now, because summer is here, or you might be going on holiday. If you're thinking I've done a good job there with that bikini line, just come and see me after the show. Okay, show special, 50 pence today. I mean, I'm not too worried. I'll probably give you the 50 pence actually, just call it a perk. Alright, so I'm just using that little button there, lock the leg in place, which means I know there's no wrinkles, so I can bravely go when no man has gone before without worrying about it. Just work your way around the body of the sheep. Now I did say it's a young girl, first haircut she's ever had, but they don't know what's good for them. They don't want to have a haircut, so you've got to try and keep her as comfortable as you possibly can, which means don't put her on a tailbone. Because if you sit her on that, that'll hurt and then she'll wriggle. Okay, so keep her comfortable. I'm just going to put this back, because she's a little bit shy. There you go, good girl. And I can just step up into my next position. Right, just lock the leg in through her legs there. Spin her back and start working your way up the neck of the sheep. Come on, love. You need to relax a little bit. That's it. There you go, there. Right, it's very important, guys, that you're familiar with the shape of a sheep's body before you attempt anything like that. Right, who chose the sheep? Right, so just getting that wall foot the neck there, and then what I'm going to do is just pull the wall over her eyes, just like so. Just start spinning her back. Right, and then you can start working your way just around sideburns. Hang on to the ears there. Still using my body, right, to wrap her around myself, keep everything nice and tight. Remember, we don't want any nasty little wrinkles on her, do we? Just like so. And then just keep working your way around until you're getting into the flank area here, and then you can start coming down into the underarm. Okay? Now you always pay special attention there on the underarm, because obviously she doesn't want to go away looking too European by the time you're done, does she? And then you can start sliding her down your leg, coming in to what in the shearing world is called the long blows. I just like so, get her head around there, keep the tension on, keep the skin nice and tight. Now as I'm giving her a haircut, guys, I'm going to tell you a quick story about sheep and wool, because a lot of people don't realize that those two things don't actually naturally go together. the way most people think they do. Now, when Mother Nature made this animal, they only ever grew an inch to an inch and a half of wool. That was it. And what sheep used to do quite naturally is molt. They never needed a haircut. Now, we found the sheep, and we thought that wool was a really fantastic product. So through a process I'm sure you've heard of called selective breeding, we grew the wool longer on the back of the sheep. Okay, we did that too. But that's not the worst thing. What we also did is take away this animal's ability to molt. That can no longer shed its own wool. If we don't, not now, Belinda. Actually, I mean, not ever. Right, if we don't give this poor old sheep a haircut, right, the wool will just get longer and longer and longer until she resembles something a bit more like a big ball of candy floss. Now, you might think, what's the problem with that? Guys, I'm really afraid to say that wool on our sheep today is actually the second biggest killer of our sheep. Wool is after the barbecue, of course. Now, how does wool kill a sheep? Well, it does it in two ways. The first way is this. This girl can actually get stuck on her back, right? Because wool, when it's wet, can be quite heavy. Now, if she does get stuck on her back, and a fox, or a crow, or even a seagull finds her before the farmer does, I'm afraid that's all over, Red Rover. But the biggest killer of animals with this wool is something called the fly. Now, if a fly finds this sheep with this wool in it, they love it. Okay, they lay their little babies in there, called maggots, that will kill a sheep in under a week. What a horrible way to go. Okay, moral of the story. I'm just going to get her head out of there, because I've only just met her. Right, but the moral of the story is this: we put the wool on her back. It's up to us to take the wool off. Very simple. Now, quite a nice day today, but what if it was a typically English summer's day and a bit cold and a bit wet? Would you worry about the sheep getting cold or wet? What, you really don't care about sheep? You don't have to worry though, because the first thing that will happen, I'll just tell you, is that her skin will return to the way that Mother Nature made it. That'll thicken threefold in under 48 hours, keeping her nice and warm. The only wool a sheep needs to handle any weather that your lovely climate can throw at her is an inch to an inch and a half. And she'll grow that back in under 2 weeks. Now, she's got something else. Ladies, can you see all that lovely yellow colour there on the sheep? Do you know what that is? Ladies, some of you guys as well, every day you're whacking on sheep grease. Right, that's in your lipsticks, eyeshadow, shaving cream, shower gel, sunblocks. That there, it's called lanolin, right? Best thing for our skin, comes from a sheep. What does it do for her? Not a lot, when she's got the wool on. As soon as I get the wool off, the lanolin starts doing its job, keeping her waterproof. So she's not going to get cold, she won't get wet, no nicks, no cuts, and she's going to live for another year, because I took the wool off her. So who wants to see a naked sheep? She's off. There she is. Not normally in that position. Well done. Okay, so not a bad little haircut there. This was a really lively one. Thanks, bud. You made my day. Right, and that side as well. So we'll just pop it back in her cubby hole here. Not that way. Good girl. Look, don't worry. It's not an oven. And when the timer goes, she'll be done. Right.